Here's a funny thing about gloves. You would think that the more expensive the pair of gloves you buy, the longer they'd last and the better they'd hold up. And I have found something interesting, and that is not the case. I've tried everything from $60 pairs of gloves down to $8 pairs of gloves. And I found that the more expensive the gloves are, the less they hold up. Here's a pair of mechanics gloves. They got this fancy rubber on the back, you know, which I have no need for. I'm not punching things, but I'm digging fence post holes. But if you look at these things, they're just completely worn out, and they're mostly synthetic materials. And it's something that I found is the more stitching that's in a pair of gloves, the more points of failure you have. So when they stitch and glue in all this extra crap, they just don't hold up. This pair of gloves I went through, they got like this after about 3 days of use. And they were like this pretty much the first day of use, and then just got a little bit worse. They were pretty much useless, and that was I think those were $35. I've tried some more expensive ones. I've tried the Milwaukee's, but then, you know what I've found, and it's almost mind-blowing. But see these gloves here, they look like old lady garden gloves. These are actually pigskin. I got these at Tractor Supply. They're $8. And this pair, I've got months of use on this pair, and you can see there are no holes in it. And the more you wear them, the more comfortable they get. You know, that's another nice thing about natural leathers, is they stretch and they'll conform to your hand, whereas this synthetic stuff over here, it's like it is forever. You know, it's not going to stretch, it's not going to wear in, it's not going to break in. Synthetic materials, they don't break in. Same thing with shoes and boots. You know, you get real leather, you go through that period where it breaks in, and it works pretty good. But yeah, it's funny though, because you think, well, I started out buying like $25 pairs of gloves, and they started wearing out. So I thought, well, I guess I'm going to have to buy more expensive gloves so that they'll hold up. And the more expensive the gloves got, it seemed like the less they held up. And finally, they didn't have any more gloves my size at Tractor Supply, other than these. And I needed gloves because you can see from the other